We started the year with a blast, didn't we? Some author faked her death. Some artist got banned because his art looked like... Ay, ay, ay. Hello, ladies and lords. What you're looking at is the last art piece of 2022. You'll have to forgive me for my screen recording of this art piece because I forgot to hit the record button here and there, and you'll definitely see it as I get towards the end of the drawing. I apologize for that, but you can download the complete artwork for free and all my previous drawings on my Ko-Fi account. If you're willing to leave any tips, any coins would be graciously accepted. If you'll read my books, you'll know that I completed the last book of my series, Dragon of Mirrors, and I'm ready to get the ball rolling on my next project, Children of Rima. The cover isn't revealed yet, but if you got an ebook copy of The Queen's Wrath, I secretly released the book cover there, because I'm just sneaky like that. Today we have a lot to unpack, so let's begin. So yes, you heard it correctly. An author faked her own death and came back to the Facebook group she was a part of and announced she was back and ready to write. Authors can do some really not cool stuff. And sure, some are seen as sentient beings who stand on a pedestal of greatness. And others are just not liked. And over the years, I've seen a lot of back and forth banter, things that make you question, and if you're a writer, that makes you be more self-aware of how you present yourself online. Everyone is dealing with something, right? But sometimes authors are doing some really shady stuff. The nitty-gritty of this whole situation is that the author who returned from the Facebook group that she was a part of and announced her arrival, her return from her grave, basically. Gosh, I feel terrible just saying that. I'm gonna post a link to practically everything that I'm saying so that you guys can check it out and in more greater detail, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be missing some stuff. But this author was a part of a Facebook group. I think it went private, or it was private and then it became unavailable. I couldn't find it anymore. However, there are some people who screenshotted it and shared it online, specifically on Twitter at Dragger of Liars. I hope I got this individual's tag name correct. And I will also be mentioning some quotes from The Independent. But with that said, let's get this ball rolling. The Independent. On January 2nd, Susan Meachen was resurrected, taken to the Ward Facebook group under her personal Facebook account once again. Meachen announced that she was never dead at all. And here's a screenshot of what she said. The credits for this goes to everyone involved in the link I will be providing in the descriptions. Susan Meachen. I debated on how to do this a million times and still not sure if it's all right or not. There's going to be tons of questions and a lot of people leaving the group, I'd guess. But my family did what they thought was best for me, and I can't fault them for it. I almost died again at my own hand, and they had to go through all that hell again. Returning to the Ward doesn't mean much, but I am in a good place now, and I'm hoping to write again. Let the fun begin. But Del Davis here. Del Davis is like, welcome back. Oh my gosh. I kid you not, guys. People who comment on YouTube comments, I'm not talking about trolls, I'm not talking about like you lovely people who have taken the time to comment on my videos. Thank you. But we need to make a compilation of like finding the most popular videos and then seeing like who's being the funniest. From the looks of this screenshot, it looks like Samantha A. Cole is the one who did the screenshot, the original screenshot, just because of her profile pic. And I really want to share her voice on how it felt for her. So let's begin. I'm not sure where to start. Last night I got a message from Rhonda Butterball asking if I remember Susan Meachen. Of course I did. And within the hour I was horrified, stunned, livid, and felt like I'd been kicked in the gut and the chest at the same time. I'm still sick to my stomach and it's gotten even worse. Sorry I added that extra even. In September of 2020, Susan Meachen's daughter, supposedly it was her daughter, signed into her mother's profile and announced that Susan had taken her own, that word. Devastation from her friends, fellow authors, and readers followed. Allegedly, she'd been bullied in the book world to the point of suicide. What was followed was rants from said daughter about how horrid the book world had been to Susan, and the family wanted nothing to do with the book world from that point on. However, they wanted to honor their mother's memory by publishing the last book she wrote, which they did. Friends, authors, and readers shared the release. We grieved for the loss of the woman we considered a friend. I personally was harassed by another author who loves to create drama, claiming I was the author who bullied Susan and drove her to... I was heartbroken when I realized it'd been a few months since I've chatted with Susan in PMs and wished I'd reach out sooner, and maybe it would have been a difference for her to know that there were people who supported her. It continues on. The links that I will be providing will have all the details, but I don't want to put you guys to sleep if you guys don't like being read to. So here's my reaction to this. I first feel for the authors who genuinely cared for her. Whether this was a mental health situation or not, they were deceived regardless. If not by Machen, it was by her family. Then Samantha here gets bullied and harassed. Her friends and readers actually agreed for Machen. So I'm confused here because tell me exactly where or how the book world was a terrible place. There's a saying out there that basically says, people won't really show up in your life unless it's your funeral. But weren't there also at least some readers who genuinely loved Machen's work? I mean, if I was to confront 1,000 armies of haters and I just had one reader who supported me, I think that would be enough for me, because someone believing in you is a powerful thing. Bullying and harassing authors, can we just stop being lethal to other authors? Seriously, some people treat it like it's a freaking rat race over here. Who writes the most books? Who writes the best prose and plot? And who makes the most money? I know we all have insecurities and we want a good pat on the back, but let's not forget our goal here. We want to write good stories. Readers want to get the heck out of this planet and live another life to find joy, hope, and passion. Can we focus on them? And don't even get me started about the whole plotting versus pantsing dilemma that authors tend to have and pull each other's hair for, because everyone wants success, right? Everybody wants to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. It's all right if we feel a little envious of other people. I think that's healthy. But when you start obsessing or you start putting yourself down and you become this person who you really aren't because of those feelings, you are doing yourself a disservice. I think the end game is, at least for me, is to create a world with characters that feel like they're living and breathing like you and I, and hoping that anyone who picks up that book is taking into this journey. So yes, that happened. You can get more information on the links I'm going to be sending. You can just Google it on YouTube too, and I think other authors are talking about it. I saw this article and it threw me off because I'm like, no, this is not for real. An artist known as from their username Ben Moran artist on Reddit submitted his painting called A Muse in Warzone and basically got banned. That's just the bottom layer of what happened though. It opened a whole different discussion. I sum it up also again of my banter with this situation. but then I'm going to give you guys like where it really just kind of went off the rails. I'm sorry, but if you're going to ban an artist because their art look like AI art, and you tell them they should change their style because of it, you are missing the point. AI art looks the way because of artists. It copied our realism style. I mentioned that it went off the rails, and that's because I found Ben Moran artist's his original post, and I was reading the comments, and there's people who support him, and then there's people who still do not believe that it's real art. Look, innocent until proven guilty, right? People are already mistakenly assuming that artists who have been in this game for a long time are suddenly doing AI art when they're not. It's just that people who never followed him are suddenly discovering their art, probably because of AI art, but then accusing them or assuming that they are using AI art. Really, really, really weird. Oh, you notice artists now because something that is really accessible to you, and now you just have like this top hat where you go to other artists and accuse them of AI art. It's very confusing. It's almost like going to see the Mona Lisa and freaking being like, oh, is that AI art? Why is this in his museum? That's definitely AI art. This mainly blew up because of the mod's behavior. It was pretty intense. He or she basically stuck with their guns and didn't give a crap. So people are telling this person to apologize, to admit that they're wrong. I think that person, that mod, genuinely believes that it is AI art. That's why they're not standing down. Again, innocent till proven guilty, but innocent nonetheless. So I'm gonna believe the artists and their claims. Why did I cover an author who faked her death and an artist who wasn't taken seriously? How discouraging would it be to connect with an author, discover they departed, only to find out they were fine all along? As much as we like to make our characters go through hell and deep waters, let's not harm our readers like that. This may be a mental health issue on the author's side, and if this was really done by her family, they should have known better. And how upsetting would it be to work hours upon hours on your art and getting comments that you must show proof you drew it? I screen record because it's fun, because I like to show the ugly and show how beautiful it can become. But not every artist is going to do that, and they shouldn't have to. Because guess what? Artists were here first. AI art has to play by our rules, not theirs. And you want to know why? Because of things like this.
Well, I didn't realize it would happen, but it did. Somebody on Reddit took my illustrations and made it into AI art. Here's my art versus artist this year for reference. They were being extremely secretive about who they were basing the AI model off of, but it's pretty obvious that it was my stuff. Like one to one, I could point out which ones were used for which section, I don't know. Like this one. I think this one's the most obvious one, to be honest. And this one. Looks like a few people kind of commented saying like, hey, that's, Deb's drawings, and they deleted it immediately. So yeah, if that doesn't prove it, I don't know what does. Ownership, please. Though it got deleted, some people uploaded elsewhere, and I think it doesn't say here, but it almost has 100 downloads, so it's still out there. Anyway, this especially sucks because I've been spending a lot of years trying to figure out how to draw in a way that is completely my voice, and I figured it out, and in a matter of months it became a bunch of zeros and ones. AI art is theft. It is an awful way to just like steal from artists. It's evil, and if you use AI art, you are dead to me.
Thank you so much for sticking with me. Please check out my Ko-Fi and download this artwork. I made sure that it could fit perfectly on your desktop screen. Until then, safe travels.